Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. Come on in the live room, guys. We are going to get started. I am so excited to be doing this live with y'all today because I'm going to be giving y'all the tea about my story getting into beauty supply because I recognize that I don't really talk about my own personal story all that often. Don't mind the eye. My eye is super irritated today. It's crazy. This like I have been having to wear contacts for the past week because my glasses have left this mark on my nose, which has never happened in the history of me wearing glasses. And it's happening now. I don't know why. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, because today is going to be different. I want to take my time with my story and give y'all the behind the scenes of like what got me into beauty supply. Like y'all know me as the retail genius. Y'all know me as most people know me as the beauty supply guru. But like not many people know how the journey actually started. I do have some clients who were following me since I had my store and they remember my lives and everything, which is really funny because that was 15 years ago. But 99% of y'all don't know my story of like opening a beauty spot store. So if you are someone who wants to open a store, y'all got to hear my story on how I did it. Y'all got to hear my story on how I did it. You don't want to miss this live. Okay. Because when I got started, y'all, it was 2016. So um it was boy, it was a long time ago. No, it was 2010. I don't know why I said 2016. That was the year I got married. It was 2010. I opened my store in 2010. And I was working for the US Treasury Department. This was during the mortgage crisis. Y'all remember the mortgage crisis of 2008 that went all the way to like 2011? That mortgage crisis was one of the worst economic times in our history, right? In our generation. People couldn't find gas. I remember like trying to drive around and the gas stations were shut down. It was an insane time. And there were layoffs. I remember I came from the finance world, right? So I went to business school, studied finance. I worked for top investment firms. I got a job straight out of college as a bank examiner for the US Treasury Department. So your girl was lit, okay? I had all the big names on my resume. Goldman Sachs, Smith, Barney. It was like you know what I'm saying? I was like, but I was laid off by the US Treasury Department during that time. And most people, unemployment was at an all-time high, like way higher than what it is now. So, mind you, there were layoffs happening left and right, similar to what we see right now, which is way worse. Unemployment was at double digits, y'all, way worse. And people couldn't find gas. We were driving around looking for gas. It was like gold. It was like you had to know someone that had gas. It was a crazy time. But I remember saying to myself, I want to start my own business. Like my path after I got laid off from my U.S. Treasury job, right? Which everyone thought was like when you work for the government, your job is safe, it's stable. No, it is not. Okay, no, it is not. No one's job is safe, and I think we even see that now in 2026, right? With this new administration and the amount of layoffs, like 300,000 women have lost their jobs during this administration due to government shutdown, DEI shutdown, all the shutdowns. So like we are recognizing that like there is no such thing as job stability. If y'all don't wake up, there was no such thing as job stability back in 2010 where I got laid off from the US Treasury Department as a bank examiner, as a national bank examiner. Y'all, there ain't no job stability and job safety, none of that now. Okay. And so I remember I could go one or two paths. And just like most Black women, we have a lot of degrees. We are very educated. We are the number one educated group of people, right? Out of everybody. We got more degrees than a thermometer. And I was thinking, let me go ahead and get my MBA. Let me do what everybody else does. Let me go and pursue an additional degree. Because that's what my peers were doing. So let me go get my next degree. That's what Black women do. And I love that about us, by the way. You can't say nothing to an educated Black woman, baby. We got degrees, okay? So I'm like, let me just go get my MBA. Let me just go get the next thing. And I'm like, okay, so for me to go and pursue an MBA, that's going to be like another $70,000. I already had a lot of student loan debt. And then I found myself in a beauty supply store because I was already thinking about entrepreneurship. I found myself in a beauty supply store. And every time, the beauty supply store always fascinated me. Number one, because I spent a lot of money there myself. But every time I went in, I'm like, there is so many Black women in here and they are making money. Like, I just remember if I'm spending $500 on, Remy, at the time it was that Remy blue and black pack virgin hair. If I'm spending $500 on this Remy hair and I'm doing this every month, and then I'm coming here every paycheck because I got to get this, I got to get that. I was in the beauty supply store every week. I was buying my wigs. I was buying my hair stuff. I was buying my makeup. Like, I was a beauty supply girl, a product of my stuff. So every time I went to, it always fascinated me. There was no other business that I spent my money in that fascinated me the way the beauty supply business fascinated me. Because on one hand, I saw how much money was being spent. And then on the other hand, I just couldn't understand that when we come into this establishment, we are treated poorly. Like, it is the worst service ever. But at the same time, in this place, we spend the most money with the worst service. That fascinated me. So when I was laid off, I was in a beauty supply store. And again, I'm just looking at the cash register. I'm like, she spent $500 on a wig. She just spent $600 on virgin hair plus that closure. She just spent $200 on, I'm counting up the purchases, and I'm just like, this is crazy. I count up something like $3,000 just me sitting there in that 30 minutes of time in one day. I said, if they can make this money in less than an hour time, I'm just like, this is it. Like, this is where I had my aha moment, because I'm like, we spending all this money and we get treated like crap in here. I'm like, imagine me opening a beauty supply store where I can now have conversations with women, make it a vibe, make it an experience like everything else where we spend hundreds of dollars in a store, an establishment, in Saks, Nordstrom, Fendi, wherever. You get a champagne experience for the most part. But you don't get no champagne experience at the beauty supply store. And I wanted to change that. I'm like, because I see the money. So the math is mathing. But I have yet to see a Black-owned beauty supply store. And again, guys, this was in 2016. 2016. I have never come across a Black-owned beauty supply store. But when I was in that beauty supply store and I had that aha moment that this is the business for me, I was laid off and I'm like, I'm either going to spend $70,000 on an MBA or I'm going to spend $70,000 on myself. And I mean, like, take a bet on myself with my own business. I just didn't know what the business was, but God gave me the business when I was sitting in that beauty. He hit me with the idea. He told me, this is it. This is the business for you. And I looked at a lot of businesses just like y'all. I was just like y'all, okay? I was looking at Popeyes franchise because my dad is an architect and he had designed all of the Popeyes franchise in New York City. So I'm like, that would be an easy business because my dad got all the connections. He could design everything for me. He has permits, connections, everything. I could just open a Popeyes. Boom, very easy. I could do real estate, right? But I knew real estate wasn't for me because I wanted a cash flowing business. I want a business that could pay me every month what I'm worth. Okay. And I also wanted something that I could enjoy. I'm passionate about. Like, I wanted to do something that I could really be immersed in. And I couldn't see myself being immersed in fried chicken. Because I ain't like fried chicken like that. I wasn't raised on fried chicken. So to me, that would have just been like a money thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? When God presented me with the idea of me opening a beauty supply store, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense because I'm here every week spending my money. And I think it's pitiful the way we are treated here. And we spend so much money. And I'm counting up the cash register and I'm just like, just this doesn't make sense and it just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and figure it out. Even though I have never seen a black owned beauty supply store, I don't know what I have to do. Do I have to find someone that's Korean to like speak that language for me? I soon found out right after I started my journey is that you don't need to speak the Korean language. You need to speak the language of retail, which I tell people all the time in my trainings. The language you need to learn how to speak, and the first thing you need to do when getting into beauty supply is understand the language of retail because you are in the retail business. And once you understand the fundamentals of retail, y'all, you can open any retail business. I can open any retail business, guys. I can open a sneaker store. I can open a nail salon. Like the fundamentals are the same, exactly the same. Okay. And so I decided, like, I understand business. I know business. I love business. I don't know beauty supply. So I wanted to figure out how can I learn beauty supply because I already know business. I want to learn beauty supply. I want to figure this out. I went on to research beauty supply stores in my community and I wanted to find a black owned beauty supply store. I did not find it. Okay. I had to travel very, very far to find my nearest black owned beauty supply store. And this was like on the other side of town. I had to drive very far out, but I met a guy and I basically told him I want to start this business. He was so cool. He was like, all right, well, you can work here. You can work in my store. And so it turned out to be a really cool bartering situation because it's not like now where everybody has a course to sell. Everyone has packaged up their information and they can sell it. Like that was not course selling and all that was not a thing 15 years ago, guys. He was like, you want to get this information, you are going to have to physically work in the store to get it. Right. So it was basically like an internship. But in return, I did give him the business systems that he was missing in his store because he was running it like a mom and pop. And I'm like, listen, I work for the government. I work for the U.S. Treasury Department. I work for Goldman Sachs. Like, let me install some systems in here so that when you go on vacation which he did, this man went on vacation to Guyana and left me and my sister with his store because we ran it like a $1 billion business, not like a mom and pop. And I'm forever grateful for him because had he just given me a course or said, here, buy my ebook or whatever, like I would have never had that hands-on experience and seeing what it was like day in and day out before I actually started my own store. So after interning in his store for like 2 months, I opened my own store. Yes, y'all. I opened Fabulous Freddy's in less than 60 days. And I want to just stop there and pause for a second because some of you have been wanting to start your business for years. And the difference between, I know the difference between people who move and people who don't move is that you have a plan B, you have a plan C, you have a plan D. When I was fired from my U.S. Treasury job, that everyone told me was stable and, job security and all that stuff, I decided that there was going to be no other options. So I disconnected plan B, plan C, plan D. And something really amazing happens when you cut off the other options, when you burn the boats, right? When you burn the ships. something happens is that you take massive action towards your goal. And that's why I opened so fast. It's because I had no other options. I had completely erased getting an MBA from my brain. Where it was an option before, it is no longer an option for me to pursue an MBA because I want to open a beauty supply store. And for many of you, that is the first mentality you need to adopt before taking the next step. You have to decide that this is the only option. When you decide that this is the only option, so you get rid of real estate, you get rid of selling fat loss pills and drinks, you get rid of selling life insurance or whatever the thing is out there, right? You remove all of those things from your brain and you say the only thing that I am pursuing is this business. And you take massive action towards the one thing because you have in your mind, you now have no other options. Because guys, in business is 90% mindset and it's 10% strategy. I have heard so many successful millionaires, multimillionaires say that when I first got started. And I'm just like, nah, I just want the strategy. No, it's mindset, guys. It is mindset. It is seeing the thing through, all the way through. It is cutting off options. It is cutting off plan B, plan C, plan D. It's saying if it don't get done, it's got to get done, right? And so I didn't stop at, I have never seen a Black-owned beauty supply store. I couldn't even Google one. Now you can Google them. Now you can find them. Like y'all could just go to my page. You can see a plethora of Black-owned beauty supply stores and become inspired. I had no source of inspiration outside of the fact that I just wanted to make a change in this industry because we were grossly unrepresented, right? Underrepresented in terms of ownership. And then we're treated so poorly and we spend so much money. That's the only inspiration I had for this business. Okay. The other part of me also wanted to be a trailblazer. I also wanted to be a pioneer. So I was the first Black-owned beauty supply store in my community, and that did something for me. Being a trailblazer, being a pioneer did something for me. Okay. Because my question before I got started is like, can Black women really own beauty supply stores? I've never seen it. And before I knew it, I was running my own beauty supply store. And now I help other people, other Black women specifically, open beauty supply stores. So the journey started from me just imagining something that I have never seen. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I have never seen it. Y'all have seen it. I didn't have that. I had to just go for it and to pray to God that it would work. And that's another thing. That's another mindset thing, that if God puts something in your mind, if God puts something in your heart, if God puts something in your spirit, He is always going to give you the steps to go to the next level. He's always going to, you might not see the whole staircase, but you got to take the first step, right? And that's exactly what I did. It was a step. I had no blueprint. I had no idea what I was doing. Y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all something real funny. I had a regular cash register. I'm just going to show you how I had no idea what I had a regular ring me up cash register. I didn't even have no point of sale system. That's how much I didn't know what I was doing. That's how much I didn't know what I was doing. But because I was very passionate about making the difference and seeing the change, I didn't even know how much money I was going to be making. Right? I didn't know how much money I was going to be making. I seen money be made in the stores that I spent my money in. And I knew how much I was spending. $500 a month on some weed. I knew that. And I said, man, listen, if they could do it, I could do it. There's no way that we can continue to shop at a store where people can't even help us with our purchasing decision. And I'm spending a couple of $100s with you every single month. And these people sometimes act like I'm a total stranger. I come here every month. What you following me around the store for? Right? And I went for it. I was just like, Here's the other thing, mindset. I was just like, I'm at the worst position I could possibly be. And that's why I tell people all the time on my consults. Like, I understand fear, but feel the fear and do it anyway. Because the worst that could happen has already happened. I was already jobless. I was already at the bottom of the barrel. I was at the bottom of the bottom, not knowing if I should get an MBA or if I should just try to get another finance job. The worst has already happened. So for some of you on here, like, literally, your life is the worst that it could possibly be. So you starting your business, you starting your beauty supply store, and it not working out. Okay, well, life is not going to be as bad as it is right now. But on the flip side, on the upside of it, it can completely change your life. You will have a completely different life in less than a year. I had a completely different life in less than 60 days. I went from being unemployed on unemployment and all types of government assistance to being an owner at 24 years old with employees, real employees, people working for me. In my first year, I made more money in my beauty supply business than I ever did combined working for different investment firms and the government. It changed my life. I never went back to a 9 to 5 job when I got started in beauty supply. I never went back. Now, there's certain businesses that y'all would start and y'all would go back to that 9 to 5. I never went back to that 9 to 5. Because again, I just cut off all options and I still cut it off. And even at my slowest months, me going back to a 9 to 5 was not an option. I was just too invested in this industry. Like, once I started getting customers in and they were just talking about how they were so happy that they have a Black owned beauty supply store to shop at, that they are just so happy I'm here and that they just love it here and they feel seen and they feel safe. Like, all of that does change your life as a business owner. When you can see the impact that your store, and you just think, I'm just selling beauty supplies. No, you're not just selling beauty supplies. You guys are selling a safe space for Black women to be seen, for Black women to have personal conversations about our hair, our crown, right? You are providing a safe space for women to come in and just be transparent and let go. Women who are going through chemo, women who are going through a breakup. Like, y'all know we like to switch up our hairstyle when we go through a breakup or we are transitioning into something else. Someone just lost a job. Someone's about to get a job. Like, your store is there as that transitional hub, right? And Black women will share those stories with you. And so it's just a really honorable, it's a really honorable place to be in, right? And I just have the best memories in my store. I don't want to cry, but you really do get so connected to the customers. It's almost like being a hairstylist. Like, when you're a hairstylist, you are like that therapist. And because someone is there for hours, like, you just can't help but have conversation. That's just what it's like, right? That's just what it's like without doing the hard work. That's why I love it so much. Because I don't need to be your hairstylist, but I can give you a transformation in 2.2 seconds with a good wig, right? With a good wig. And so it changed my life. And so my point is, y'all, you can literally have a different life in under a year. I had a different life in 60 days. Who can afford to have a different life in just 60 days? Who would want? Like, y'all, let me know in the comments, because y'all quiet. But I know y'all watching me. If you would want a different reality than your current one in 60 days, drop in me in the chat. Drop in me in the chat, because there's a bigger mission, y'all, right? This is just bigger than just opening stores, right? This is ownership. This is legacy. This is generational wealth. This is you creating jobs. Like I said, I was 24 years old, adding to the economy because I was creating jobs. I was giving young black girls opportunity to work in my store, right? That by itself is life changing. That by itself is life changing. So every time another black woman opens a beauty supply store, she is creating opportunities in her community. She is showing people what is possible. When I had my grand opening, y'all, I was so happy that my whole family was there. Yes, I was. My family was there. They were so proud of me. They were so happy. They were so supportive. But what I really noticed was the community and how supportive the community was and how proud they was to see this young black girl open this brick and mortar space, the first black owned beauty spot store in the community. That was the part that stuck with me, is that people were just inspired and they were like, man, if she can do it, I can do it. Right. And that is the part that kept me going in that business for over 8 years. I operated our stores for over 8 years. So let me ask y'all a question, right? I want y'all to drop a one in the chat if you've ever seriously thought about opening a beauty spot store. Maybe you've been researching it for months. Maybe you've been watching videos. Maybe you're watching my videos, saving posts, you're in the Facebook groups, all the things. Y'all doing all the things, right? Comment me in the chat if that's you. Comment me in the chat if that's you. But you know, you're here, there, and you're everywhere. And you're just feeling like, I just feel all over the place. And so when I feel all over the place, I don't know what the first step is. I don't know what the roadmap is. I don't know what the blueprint is, right? If that is you, you are in luck. That is you, you're in luck. Because I am hosting a brand new webinar, a brand new training next Thursday, where I'm going to take you through the exact steps. I gave y'all my story, but I want to take you guys through the exact steps of how we help our clients open stores, right? So everything from like, how much money do you really need? How do people get this money, right? How do you go about finding the right location? Where does the inventory come from? How do you get vendors? Like, what are the mistakes? What should I avoid? I get that question a lot. What should I avoid? What are the main mistakes? What are the pros? What are the cons? You know, what are the first steps? I just need clarity. This training is designed to give you clarity before you invest your money. This is the training I wish I had before I got started, right? I went through, I fumbled, but I still made it happen, right? But this training is designed to give you the steps, right? The roadmap on what it looks like to open a beauty supply store like the right way, y'all, the right way. And so I'm having this training, guys, next Thursday night at 7 p.m. I'm about to drop the link for you guys. Let me just go ahead and grab it. It's a free training, y'all. It costs you nothing but your time to show up. But for some of you who are seriously thinking about it, like, you definitely want to be in the room, okay? So you guys are getting the link first. I have not launched this link, so go ahead and get your spot. And if you're watching me on Instagram, you can comment the word training and I'll send you the registration link. Comment the word training and I'll DM you the registration link. But y'all, I'm going to close here. I truly believe that there is room for more Black-owned beauty supply stores. The demand is definitely here, especially with the boycott. And we are seeing, once again, a shift towards supporting our own. And we are just being very intentional. Once again, something had to happen. This is like George Floyd all over again. But we are seeing people looking for beauty supply stores, but unfortunately there's not many Black-owned beauty supply stores. We're still like less than 10% of the total, and we need more stores. So the demand is here, the opportunity is here. The only question is whether you will be one of the people who decides to build it. So if this live encouraged you, I want you to go ahead and show me some love, give me some hearts, give me some likes, and also share this with 3 people. Share this with 3 people who was always talking about starting a business, right? Because it's not just about starting a beauty supply store. This is about starting a business, especially Black-owned business, because we are now in the season where people are looking for a Black-owned nail salon, Black-owned beauty supply. Like, people are looking. So if that's you, if God called you to do it, go ahead and do it. And so y'all comment the word store so I can drop a link for Thursday's training. And I'll see you there, guys. Have a good night. Love you guys. Bye.